Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Connecting Greeks. Thank you so much for joining us. We have a great show tonight. I won't say any more, but I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Ari Kalos. With me is Fotios Stamos. I'm in Washington, Foti in Boston, and we have another friend. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but he's all the way over in LA. Let's introduce this guy, Angelo Tsarouchas, everyone.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Yasu Angelo.
Yasu Forti, Yasu Ari. How is your week?
Oh, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Good?
I'm back
Yeah.
in DC,
It's
like
lousy.
I mentioned.
It's lousy.
I'm very close to all the action over here. I'm like literally 10 minutes away from Walter Reed Medical Center, and
Wow.
yeah, there's all sorts of craziness. So yeah,
Everything.
it's been entertaining. How are you doing, Angelo?
Good. Here, the same thing. It's like lather, rinse, repeat, Groundhog Day. The same malakias every day, but we're getting by. We're getting by. So it's we're doing our best.
You have your
And,
health. That's what counts.
That's it. We're trying to, not overeat, not drink, not trying to walk. Asa.
Well, I don't know.
It's,
I don't know about
I'm still smoking cigars. I don't care. I can have a
the.
cigar.
I don't know about the drinking part. Foti, you have anything to say about that?
Cheers.
Forti's having a drink right now, but I'm excited. But guys, we've had some great shows, and last week we had Chairman George that got picked up by the Greek press. So I'm happy people are tuning in, people are listening.
Yeah,
And we're getting a night where
he's going to be on like 3 different shows.
yeah. So from last week, but this week I'm very excited about our guest who we're going to bring on. First and foremost, he's a very dear and close friend to me. In his own right, this guy has toured across the world with his own unique sound, selling millions of CDs. He's a Canadian like me, where all the good talent comes from Canada. He's in Toronto. He has, and we're going to talk to him about so much. He has been nominated for Junos in Canada, which is equivalent to a Grammy. He's toured all over Korea, England, Greece. We were supposed to go to Greece to do special. He has a special on PBS called Pavlo Live in Castoria, which was a smashing hit. He followed that up with Pavlo in Guadalajara, Mexico. And we're going to get to the reason why we're going to go. There's so much to do. So let's welcome on our show, referred to as Lord of the Strings, my good friend Pavlo Simtikidis.
Yasu Pablo.
Yes,
Pablo.
yes.
Now,
How
what
are
an
you
intro,
guys?
hey, Pav? You got to admit,
Holy
man.
Lord of
what
the
an
Strings!
intro.
Oh my goodness!
I saw Lord of the Strings, man. You are Lord of. How you doing, brother? How are you?
Those are overzealous writers, man. I'm doing great, brother. I'm
That's
doing
great.
great. I'm on a how do I say it? I'm on an unexpected one and a year and a half vacation. How about that?
Unbelievable. And I was telling the guys, Pavlo, because I know you're up in Toronto. You live in Tampa with your family.
Yeah.
I was telling the guys, I think I'm on the road a lot. I think as much as I'm on the road, I have to say that you probably, because of the success of your PBS special, you're on the road even more now in the last couple of years. Going everywhere.
The last couple of years, I did almost 200 cities a year. And
crazy.
it was due to the success of my TV show, the PBS TV show. And that's why I was so excited. Like this year, as Ange knows, like this year was going to be like, we were going to go to Santorini. I was going to be the first artist ever. This took me 7 years to do. I was going to be the first artist ever to do a concert filmed for American television out of Santorini. Like this is, I went through two mayors, 2 elections in Greece. I finally got the deal done, and then COVID comes across.
Man, I was so disappointed because, and here's where the connection comes in, guys. Pavlo had asked me, he goes, Ange, why don't you come and open the show for me? And I've toured with Pavlo before. I did his Canadian tour where we went all across Canada. And we've done some shows together where I've opened for you and done shows in Los Angeles. And I said, yeah. He goes, do you want to go to Santorini? Yeah. He didn't even tell me what for. I just went, yeah.
He actually said, "Do you want to go to San?" And you were like, "Yeah."
I said yes. So, but this was going to be because I don't know if you guys have had the chance to see live in Castoria. It was phenomenal and
I watched the video.
well received. It's amazing, and that's where Pavlo's family's from in Greece. And the amphitheater, he did it up in Castoria, and he had special guests on, which he always does. The charm about Pavlo is he makes this amazing music, and then he brings on an eclectic group of guests. And I'm talking different type of musicians, myself as a comedian. He mixes it up. He makes a nice Pavlo salad. And that's what makes it so good, right? He knows,
The thing with Santeria, obviously I was going to have Angelo there, which was going to be amazing. I just thought that what a perfect scenario. I'd be the first musical artist to do a special from Santorini, and then Angelo would have been the first comedian ever to do a special
in Santorini.
Like what I mean? Like, why not all do it one shot? But it doesn't matter. We're doing it June 25. It's already booked. So
Okay,
that's it. Next year, June 25.
I hope you guys are still going to do it. I hope COVID doesn't completely ruin it. It's just postponed.
Yeah. June 25th.
June 25th
June
next year in
25.
Santorini.
That makes a difference. That's my anniversary, so I got to be there.
Is it? Then you got to go there, man. You got to come.
Yeah.
But I know. But you see, here's the thing. Now, you can talk about the rewards of entertainment. I know how hard an entertainer, especially like Pavlo, even to do. It's not easy to do business in Greece, but he finally got it together. The whole resort was to be turned into like an amphitheater on the cliff. Just picture that.
Well, that was the challenge of Santorini, right? There's no venue. There's actually no concert venue on the entire island. Like Mykonos, they all have venues. Santorini has no venue. Wow. So I had to take the Ambassador Suites, which is a beautiful resort, and they had a helicopter landing pad right on the cliff, and I was going to convert the helicopter landing pad into a concert venue.
Oh my God!
So yeah, I mean, I had a crew of 30 coming from that. Actually, the whole crew that did the Lattice's special at the Rodeo, that's the crew that I booked to do this for me. So anyway,
nice.
Long story short, it's going to happen next year.
Yeah.
So Pavlo, Pavlo, I know you work all over. We're going to go in the Greek thing first because you played all around the world, but you were with you played at the what's it called, the Erodio? It's with is it Frangoulis?
Yeah, I played Mario. Yeah.
We know Mario. He's been here many times.
Yeah, Mario Frangoulis did with Pablo. Pablo did a show, I think last year or the year before now. I don't know. It's cold. I got COVID brain. Here in LA at the Ford Amphitheater in Hollywood with Yanis Plutarchos.
Oh wow.
Which was another. It was great. They did a show here. They did, and I know that you collaborate. And I don't know if you guys know, he did it in Toronto. Massey Hall is like the Carnegie Hall of America. So I'm at Massey Hall. I happened to be there. This a couple of years ago, and I'm backstage to see Pavlo. So I go backstage, and who's sitting there? Gordon Lightfoot. The legend.
Really?
So I go to Pavlo. I go, dude, is that Gordon Lightfoot? He goes, yeah. I go, what's he doing here? He goes, oh, he loves my music. We're friends. Oh, wow. So you never know who you're going to see. And I'm like, shit, dude. Gordon Lightfoot loves Pavlo. And Gordon Lightfoot is a living legend. He's like 80 years old. Seriously, a legend. And you'll see him backstage. And all. You never know who you're going to bump into. So the appeal of your music, Pavlo, is international, and that's what makes you so good at what you do. But what I like about you is you take chances. You're always open to do new things. Why is that?
Yeah, you know what, brother? For me, like a lot of us, I've been doing this for a long time, and in the beginning of my career, I went years, like almost a decade, without making a penny, but I did it because of the love of the art. I like people who are in the music business or in the entertainment business, you don't really do it for the money, because if you wanted to do it for the money, there's many other areas we would make more money and sooner.
True.
We do it because we do it because you know what I'm saying. We do it because we love it, right? So you of like scraping pennies together to finally achieve any kind of success it's like it's humbling, like, and you don't take it for granted, you know. So for me, the first thing that I always said to myself, if I ever get successful at whatever level, I would be experimental in what I do. I would always invite other musicians, other entertainers to be part of my show, because I never got that break. So I want, even in my own small little way, if I can give anybody kind of a break to be an opener, to be a guest, I would do it. And that's why in all my shows, I always have different guests, whether it's violin players, dancers, singers, whatever.
Singers, everything.
Show, yeah, like every show is different. If you were to follow me for 10 nights in a row on tour, every night is completely different.
Right.
Different, different people, different whatever. So I'm always just trying to keep it fresh, you know, that's all. You're
like the Neil Young of your genre, is what you are. He does all that stuff. But and guys, I don't know, Ari or Forti, if you've ever been able to see Pavlo live, the audience gets into it, man. I mean, you've never seen so many hot chicks up there shaking it.
Well,
my favorite part.
I want to say something to Pavlo. Pavlo, I've heard of you. I'm familiar with you. When Angelo told us you were going to be on the show, I was very excited because I knew of you and your music. But I spent yesterday, going through some of the videos, just, refreshing. Yeah. I'm a straight married man with a son, but you got this groove when you play, and I'm like, that's like the coolest groove. Like, you probably get lots of like bras and panties like thrown on stage and stuff.
Was it necessary to tell us that you're straight?
Well,
yeah, really.
Saying, my wife's probably watching right now, so I don't want her to think.
You know what? It's to be honest with you, the way that I play, right? It comes from my background. It comes from being Greek. It comes from the Glendi. You know what I mean? Like, I studied classical guitar, I studied flamenco guitar as a kid, but I grew up listening to Greek music because my parents would have Greek music in the house, right? So, you put, from Kazantzidis to, to Sting, with the Police or whatever, like that is how I grew up. So my performance style is really kind of all of that, you know what I mean? Like, like every typical Greek house, my mom has the music blaring in the kitchen. I come in, I start dancing with it. Like, that's kind of how I am on stage, is the way I grew up, So it's part of the Greek background, the Greek culture. We're not afraid. Not that we're great dancers. I'm not a great dancer, but we all dance.
You can't tell from the video.
Get into it.
Well, we all dance. We all just have a good time. That's all, and that's sort of how I play the guitar. I kind of like move it around.
It's just you look like you're having a good time. You look like you're very passionate about the music, and that adds to the whole, to the whole thing. It's just
I enjoy every second, honestly. Like, it may be my last. So every second I'm on stage, my brothers, I'm telling you, I enjoy it to the fullest.
That's awesome. Fullest, and I think the audience can also sense that, and it adds to your appeal.
Now, Pav, I wanted to ask you, because at the beginning, because in your band you have a bouzouki.
Yeah.
And you got a great bouzouki player. At the beginning, they told you they didn't think that your style of music with a bouzouki would work. True or false? It's true, right?
It's very true. Like in the 90s, I know I look young here, but I'm very old. In the 90s, when I started...
Tutu.
In the 90s, when I started, middle 90s, like my music was always the combination of putting flamenco, Latin, Spanish guitar with the Greek bouzouki, right? That was my thing.
Right.
But it was never, in those days, it wasn't really that common. Like in Canada, when I was shopping my demos around, they're like, what is this? I'm like, you're a good guitar player, just be like a flamenco guy or whatever. I'm like, well, but I'm not. I'm a Greek guy. I'm not a flamenco guy. I'm not Spanish, right? So that's what I do. And they told me to lose the bouzouki, and I said no. And it's hard to do because I could have got a deal sort of going by their suggestions, right?
Right.
But I didn't. I knew enough that if I was going to have any chance of succeeding, I had to do what was true to me. Now, whether I found an audience of 5 people or 5 million, it didn't matter. Yeah, I had to be true to what I do, And honestly, in retrospect, looking back, thank God I did, because I think I would have got lost in the shuffle. You got to do what you do, right? Like in comedy, you're going to do the comedy that you love. You know what I mean? You're going to do the comedy that you love. You know what I mean? You can't, you can't try to follow the latest craze, right? Or you know what I'm saying? Like, You gotta do what you love, and that's why I stuck to my guns. And thank God I did. Now I'm like the Mediterranean guy, but that's only because they.
Yeah,
they
but how
found
many
the
albums?
term
How many
instead.
albums do you have now, Pav?
I've released 15. To date.
15 albums. I mean,
amazing.
definitely
Yeah.
something went right. Because when
Yeah.
when you see the sound, and one of my favorite, there's a lot of favorite songs that I have it on my mix, but Cafe Castoria for me is one of my favorite songs. You have so many good ones, but somebody that I'll play it in the car sometimes, and my daughter listens to it, and my wife, or even if somebody's in the car, who's that? Oh, it's Pavlo. And I know you've made it because where was I once? Your music was playing at Glendale Galleria here in LA. I could hear Pavlo over the PA system, and they're playing it in the mall. And I'm thinking, you can see people just walking around, right? So I've heard your music in an elevator in Vancouver. I've heard your music, like in I was in the lobby of a hotel. I've heard it in a mall. And so whenever you hear an artist's music, like at a game or a function or something, holy shit, people like this guy. Do you get people ask you that? Do they tell you where they hear your stuff?
I'll tell you a funny story, like this is, and it's humbling. Believe me when I say to you, whenever I go around, if I hear my music anywhere, it's like, I want to go give them money. Like, who's playing it? Who's in charge?
Yeah.
Can I give you $5? One time I'm walking down South Beach in Miami, and I'm from afar, right? So as we're walking, we pass by the front of this hotel, and there's, they have guitar players in Miami and South Beach. They sort of play, in the cafes as people are walking around, and the kid was playing one of my tunes. So he looked up, and he saw me, and he realized that it was me, and I just happened to walk by while he's playing my song. So he got up, gave me his guitar, and I sat down and I started to play the tune. And everybody around's like, oh my God, this guy knows the songs.
Yeah, maybe because I wrote the song.
Yeah, but anyway, it was really good. It's humbling, brother. It's humbling. I love it. I think music truly is the universal language, and it brings people together. And it's amazing to see that kind of thing in action, bringing people together like that.
And you also
kind of cool.
said earlier, Pavlo, that you spent a long time not making any money, but you stayed true to your passion. When I hear that, and people like you actually make it, whatever level of success, whatever money they make, like, you truly deserve it, because you stuck with your passion, and and it took whatever amount of time it took. It's very, very impressive that you stuck with it. You did what you love, and all the success to you. I wish you the most.
I just think life is short, right? And it's not really about the economics. I mean, listen, you have to make a living. We're not naive. We're not being, but you gotta do what you love, like, and I never wanted to turn around and all of a sudden, be 50, which is what I am right now, and say, oh my God, I should have done that. I should have tried that. I didn't go far enough with that. I wanted to always look back in life and say, you know what, I gave it a shot. Doesn't matter if I succeeded or not. I just wanted to make sure that I was going to be happy with myself, saying, hey, I gave it a shot,
That's great.
So,
That's great.
Now, Pavlo, they say imitation is the biggest form of flattery. Well, you had a huge singer imitate some of your music. And I don't know, the guys know. Do you mind telling a little bit of the story of who took it and was sampling your stuff?
Yeah, sure. In the year 2000, I got into my car one day and I heard my music, and it was in another song. It wasn't my song, and it was Jay-Z and R. Kelly.
No.
Yes.
They created. They stole one of my samples, put it into their song without telling me, of course. And it became a worldwide smash. It was a song called Fiesta.
What?
That the two collaborated.
Remember Fiesta?
And,
Yeah.
So all that guitar playing is all mine. And so anyway, make a long story short, I sued them and I won. So I actually own most of that song.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So they sampled part of Pavlo's stuff. So imagine.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
We'll use that song in the intro of Connecting Greeks.
Why not?
Wait, I used a small
no.
sample of music in the promo. I should have asked you first. I'm sorry though.
It's okay. We're talking about Pavlo, but imagine that. I mean, to me, yeah, it's not right that you take another artist's material without permission. Pavlo was able to settle it up, but Jay-Z and R. Kelly. Well, I mean,
that's impressive that they use your music. I mean, you know, they're huge, and they saw something in your music and they used it. They didn't do it the right way, but they did do it. And now that you're settled up, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, back in those days, I was just like, I never thought I would win. I mean, you know, I just thought, hey, I just felt not almost violated, right? Like saying, like, hey, if you came to me, I would have gave you my riffs for free.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, exactly.
You know, but you just sort of just took it all and did what you wanted, and they ended up selling 10 million albums. You know,
Jeez.
So like I would have done it for free, but I thought no, at the very least, I just wanted them to know that I exist on this planet. That was my goal. I wanted R. Kelly and Jay-Z just to know that I exist on this planet because it was my music, right? But I went a step further and I won the lawsuit, so that doesn't hurt either.
That's
what happens when you mess with Greeks. It's like, okay, we're gonna go. No, but I mean, I love that story because it's flattering to know that those guys were listening to your music, and not only did they listen, they took a piece of that. But the other thing is, for doing that, which is business, you know, the thing that I admire about you too, Pavlo, is that you work with a charitable foundation. You've been doing it for years. Tell us a little bit about it, like what the foundation is and with the guitars. And
well, I've done a few things over the years. I was with World Vision for many years. And what we did is we sponsored children through my concerts. So if someone would sponsor a child at my concert, I would give them a couple of free CDs. You know, years ago when CDs actually had more value than
right, yeah.
So through my concerts, we sponsored over 1,000 kids worldwide. So that was an amazing collaboration, World Vision. And then I was part of Batten's disease for years. And Batten's disease is a degenerative disease that affects kids, and that was something I was passionate about as well. And that was just, you know, helping families mostly around America and Canada. I'd bring them to the concerts, and we just provide an evening out for not just for the kids, but for the whole family to come out. You know, I mean, these are just small little things. I mean, honestly, I wish I was an even bigger artist. I could even do more, you know. But I do with what I can within my, you know, humble little world. You know what I mean?
That if you do what you can, that's all that counts. That's
no, but
amazing.
it's a lot. It's a lot. I know other artists that don't do shit. So, I mean, this is, when I saw that whole thing with the guitars and everything else, very honorable, because it just shows you the upbringing and the filotimo that we bring to it, even as artists. And I've always said to people, you know what? It's like, it's one thing to do what you do, but it's the way we were raised. And you know, Pav, you're a good example for many people. That, you know, I know a lot of people that do a lot of things and they're so self-centered that they don't even think of doing something outside of their realm, you know. But because right now we're going to be, I mean, I'm out of work, you're out of work, not meaning out of work, meaning we can't perform. It's a different thing to say we're out of work. We have work. But here's my concern now. So we're dealing with the COVID crisis. That's what I want to ask you. And I see you've been putting up different videos on, which I like. You've been doing food stuff and other. I think it's really funny. It's very good. And we had to face other challenges because, you know, guys, in entertainment, things change rapidly, and they're changing now. I used to sell CDs and DVDs, and I know Pavlo did. Guess what happened? Nobody has a CD or DVD player anymore. Yeah. So what do you find now, Pav? Are people downloading? Because I can't sell anything anymore at shows.
Yeah. Well, as a songwriter, I've been saved, so to speak. You know, like all the music, like Angelo knows, all the music that I play, it's all my own music, right? I mean, I'll play some old classics, but like 99% of the material that I play every night in concert is music that I've written over my lifetime. And what's happened is Yeah, I don't sell that many more CDs anymore. But because of COVID, streams have gone up, like way up. So actually, my royalties, my songwriting royalties, have been bigger than they've ever been. So,
Nice.
I mean, I'd love to go back to concerts, of course, that's what I do. But I've been fortunate enough, like really fortunate enough, that my royalties do pay my expenses, and I can sort of wait it out until I can get back on stage.
I always read that like streaming is like, they always like kind of screw over the artist. Do you find
Yeah.
that it's
Well, it started like that, and it still has a ways to go. It's all about monetizing the views, right? And so our access to more people around the world is bigger than it's ever been. But we haven't been able to monetize, and it's getting better. So it's even today, the royalties that we get is much better than what we were receiving even 2 years ago.
Oh wow.
And it'll be even better down the road. I mean, there are many sort of lobbying, organizations that continuously try to get the Spotify's of the world to pay more money, and they are slowly doing that. But it's not just that. I also have TV. I have 3 PBS specials on television. I've licensed dozens of songs to movies and television shows and commercials. So all this stuff accrues residuals and royalties that eventually.
It adds up.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's pennies, but it adds up to.
It adds up in the end to something. Yeah, because look, Joe Rogan, the podcast, number one podcast in the world, he just signed $100 million deal with Spotify.
That's right.
And now he smashed it today. Today he smashed them because they want to censor him now. So how do you get a guy? This is interesting. They buy his 11 years he's been doing the podcast. They buy his whole library, $100 million they pay him. And now they're giving him a hard time. They want him to censor his show.
Well, now he's corporate.
Boycotting.
He used to be like punk rock, and now he's like corporate, like. So, but that's what the money brings you, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's like they're not going to give you 100 million and then let you run free. They're going to give you 100 million and then they're going to be like, do what you do, but stay in the shell of what we want you to do. And, it's a
but it defeats the purpose, right, Ari? Because the reason you got him is that he has 80 million people a month listening to him. Why do you want to change it now?
It's weird because Spotify is buying like all the top podcasts, and a lot of people out there are rebelling. They're like, you know what? We are not going to listen anymore because like it's just one of those things, like the kind of corporate takeover. But I mean, I don't know. Can I say no to $100 million? I like to think that I could because I have my integrity.
Nobody would.
Reality is like, hell yeah, I would take the money.
Dude, you would do it for like $100,000.
I'll take $10. Give me $10. I'm yours.
$100. No, but it's interesting because everything seems to be changing. Social media is changing. They're censoring social media. You guys got to watch a show called The Social Dilemma on Netflix. And for artists, what I find what's happening now between like my kids on TikTok and all this stuff, I find, in my opinion, people have the attention span of a goldfish. So they don't, they want to hear stuff. Do you find, Pavlo, that with ever-changing social media now, and I know you're like me, you're on all kinds of platforms. We're on Facebook and we're on Instagram and now TikTok. I opened a page just to put clips. I don't want to start talking to people. I'm hating more people as I get older.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to nobody. Even my own family. Fuck them. I don't want to talk to them.
Well, I agree. I think that the attention span is like it's dismal to nothing, But I mean, it is what it is. Like we just have to deal with it. I'm kind of like an old school guy in terms of the way I like to sort of portray myself. But you have to sort of embrace the new, and you're really good at that, Angela. I mean, I'm actually horrific at the whole social media. I mean, I'm there, but I really don't know what I'm doing. But
nobody does.
But I'm just trying to get the stuff out. For me, the way I look at it, I never feel like I'm just trying to promote my music. So I'll go to any length. I never feel like I'm selling out in that way. Like the core of what I do is playing or promoting the music that I write. So if I
Right.
have to go out on social media, or if I have to go on top of a mountain and scream it out, I'll do whatever I have to do to get my music out there, you know. And that's why you know, I don't think any way is a bad way to get your art across. You know what I mean?
No, you're
In
right.
my opinion,
You're right,
you know.
100%.
You know, like
And
right
I,
now, yeah,
sorry, I was just gonna say, like, for our generation and older, it's one of those like necessary evils.
yeah,
Because I'm a tech guy. I've been a tech guy since '90. I don't even know what. I've had a web company. I've worked for Fortune 500s. I've worked for startups. I truly believe social media is just horrible, horrible, evil thing.
yeah,
But it's a
Well, watch
necessary
Social
thing.
Dilemma, but you need it.
You
need
you
it.
have to, like,
You
how else
have to
do you
have
do
it.
anything nowadays? And
that's
you
true.
just have to
Necessary
adapt.
evil is the best way to describe it. I think, you know. But like, you know, like right now, as like, you know, I had 65 concerts this year, and all of them got canceled across America. Most of them were in the U.S. And I now booked a streaming concert, like on October 15th.
That's
I think
right.
this is next week, right? Next Thursday.
From Vegas, right?
Yeah, I'm doing a live concert from Las Vegas. It won't be with anyone in the audience, but it's with a full camera crew, and it's a pay-per-view basically, so it's for
Oh,
the world.
cool.
You know,
That's what I wanted to
and I'm
ask
doing that.
you.
Yeah,
And we'll
so
bring
I
it up
just said, like,
again, Pavlo, for people
yeah,
listening.
and that's an example of just like, you know, I haven't really even begun to advertise it because it's still like 8 days away, you know. So I'm probably gonna start promoting it in 5 days prior to the show, because I'm afraid that people will forget.
Yeah, it's
If I
like
put-
Yeah.
you know what I
you're
mean?
too far ahead. They're like, what,
Well,
when, who? You got to
but
do it.
but
There's a
but we're
sweet spot.
typically, yeah, well, so, but we're typically, when I do a concert, like, you know, if I'm playing at, you know, I play at the in Boston, I play at the beautiful theater there, the Berkeley
Berkeley
theater.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, and you know that I would start promoting 4 or 5 months prior to my concert. Now online, you're promoting 5 days. You know how terrifying that is? You know,
Yeah.
like is anybody gonna show up? I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll find out. You know.
It's
And,
crazy. It's
so
crazy
yeah,
how
it's
things have
different.
changed.
Yeah.
In 5 days.
Yeah.
So Pablo, influences, because, you know, I'm sure I hate asking these questions because they ask me the same questions, but in your case, it's more unique because what were the influences for you? Because you were in a rock band before you did this. And I know we all love listening to Greek music because we didn't have a choice growing up. We had to listen to it.
Yeah.
All those car trips. And somebody asked me the other day, I don't know if you guys, I may be aging myself. My dad used to have an 8-track of Trio Bel Canto.
Yes, yes.
Of course.
Remember Trio Bel Canto?
Yes,
Gling,
yes.
gling,
Of
gling,
course.
gling, gling, all the way down to Florida. And the old man loved Trio Bel Canto and Hadi Klin, who's a comic, who's fucking funny, hilarious. But it's so funny because somebody asked me, name your favorite boy band. It was a Greek website, and I said Trio Bel Canto. and they were laughing. But what was it like? What was the influences that you had that, you know, because you mentioned a few already that were, did you find that shaped what you were doing in your music?
Yeah, I had lots, and you know, like growing up as I mean, to sum it up, my biggest influence was my dad, and the reason why I say that, my dad, like a lot of our, you know, my dad was born in Greece. He came to Canada. You know, we were born here. You know, he came like everyone with just a shirt on his back, but he had a trade. He was a furrier. You know, he just made ends meet, and
That's
you know, and he became, you know, he had a successful family and everything else. But my dad loved guitar players. Like an odd thing, like a Greek guy from the village of Castoria comes to America and he loves flamenco guitar. He loves guitar players. So it was my father that introduced me to Jose Feliciano, Paco de Lucia. You know, I mean, everybody and anybody, you know, Sabicas, Andres Segovia. And through my dad, I actually got, you know, opened up my eyes to all of these guitar players. But at the same time, my dad loved singer-songwriters, Neil Young, Gordon Lightfoot. You know, like, so I loved anything that kind of moved me, but it all was opened up. My eyes were opened up due to my dad's love for that kind of music.
Right.
You know?
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, kind of
That's
odd,
awesome.
right? For like a Greek immigrant to like that kind of stuff.
Good. No, but
Yeah, but that's so cool.
You know, and you can see how proud I was, boys. I'm telling you, like, you know, I later worked with Jose Feliciano. I met Paco de Lucia.
I was going to ask you, did you get a chance to work with those guys?
And I did, and you can imagine how like proud I was to introduce my dad to Jose Feliciano. You know what I mean? It was insane. Like he's playing his 8-tracks as a kid in the car, and here I am on stage with Jose Feliciano. Feliz Navidad. You know what I mean? Like it was just, it was
Feliz
crazy,
Navidad.
crazy.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, I found a few times, even as a comic, when I met Don Rickles, or if I was working on a movie with Stallone, it's so weird that you grow up looking at these guys or listening to them or idolizing them, and then you're on stage with them or you're working with them. You're like, shit, is this happening? I mean, that's when you're like, wow. But it's
a cool
I think it's great.
Cool feeling.
Audiences. I got for now it'll be 2 years in October that I got to do a little tour in Greece. Yeah. I found something I had never experienced before. I was with Hadzi Pavlo. We did 4 shows in Greece, and the Greeks loved it. There was something about the Greek audiences. I found Greeks, and the British who love to go out for. And I know you've toured in England and Scotland and Ireland. What was it about? Did you find a radiance about a Greek audience in Greece? Because I found the Greeks love to go out. Yeah. They love live entertainment. Even when they're broke, they still go out. I mean, did you find, because, you know, some audiences, you go perform for them and they're like, you know, and then, but Greece, did you find the same thing, Pavlo? What was your experience when you did Castoria?
It's Greeks party like it's 1999. You know what I mean? Like it was an amazing, like when I did the Castoria special, it was amazing because it's the first time I had ever played. It was 1995. Sorry, 2015, 5 years ago. And when I played there, I didn't know what to expect. First of all, I didn't know if anybody would show up, you know. But me, when we packed, there's over 1,000 people there, and they you know what I love? They put their hearts on their sleeves. They just get up and they show their emotion, you know. And that's why. And I think we captured that on the TV show, on the PBS special, right?
100%.
There's nothing like enjoying the moment, and I think the Greeks know how to enjoy the moment. I think, you know, that kind of sums it up.
But Pavlo, how cool for you to go back to where your family's from, to put on a special like this. You put Castoria on the map. I mean, we all know where it is. All of the world knows that you were able to go back to your ancestral home with your family there, with your mom and dad, your daughter, your wife, and to do this for the people there, their favorite son. I mean, emotionally, man, you must have been fighting it back a little bit, because you're sitting there in Castoria, and not only that, now they know that this special Pavlo live in Castoria is seen all around the world now. Millions of people have watched it, and you know, it's not only that you honor your family or our ancestral homes where we're all from, but you also put it on the map. You know, I mean, and to me,
it's a great feeling, man. You know, for me, I always do everything with what I'm hoping is the right intent. You know, like, you know, sometimes you try stuff that doesn't work out. I always feel that if you go in with the right intentions, things will always work out one way or the other. And that's all that was. Castoria, it's a beautiful place, but there's many beautiful places in Greece, right? Oh, yeah. But I wanted to go to the place that meant something to me. You know, like I walked through the streets of Castoria, showing people where my dad was, you know, 14 years old, working full time, living by himself in an apartment, trying to make ends meet to help his his mom in the village. You know? So it was just real special and very moving to go through those exact, you know, and Castoria is a 1,000-year-old city, right? It's not like it's
an old city.
Yeah, 1,000-year-old city. Right?
Well, Castoria is a castle, right? In Greek.
Yeah. Well, Castor is a castle, but the thing about Castoria has 80 Byzantine churches.
Wow.
You know, which are about between 800 and 1,000 years old.
Wow.
You know, like, and it goes on. I mean, it's incredible. The history is incredible. There's a 5,000-year-old cave in the mountain. It's a very unique city, you know. But anyhow, it just, when you go into things with the right intent, with genuine intent, I think it all works out. And even though like the show would air 1,000 times in America, and I would get audiences, you know, from Mexicans, we'd get Armenians, we'd get every walk of life that would come to the shows because they related to it from their own culture. They weren't Greek necessarily, but they could feel the family life. They could feel how we get, we showed how we get together around dinner and hang out with the family and dance and have fun. And I think that, it crosses many cultures, I believe, and that's probably why it succeeded. I think.
That's why people connected to it, Pav, because the way you did it, it was well directed in the sense that I felt like I first and foremost got to hear your music, but I got to see where everything started from for you, like for your dad and your mom and the people. I mean, people love that, and when you're right, a lot of you talk to Italian Americans and you ask them, where's your family from? I don't know. Most people here in America don't know where their family's from. We all know. Now, maybe generations from now won't be the same. But what I find is that at the end, who said that? At the end, what is left? Art. Right? You can have a big house and a car. Who gives a shit? At the end, what is left? Art. And that's what people remember things by. Leonardo da Vinci and Picasso and Brahm and Chopin and all these, artists. I mean, in the end, that's what's left. So I think it's so vital. And now, especially with social media and all this stuff, it's like we're nobody's paying attention. I can't remember what day it is today. I have to check my calendar to know it's Wednesday so we can do an edition of the show. But that's just a hazard of COVID. So, Pav, what have you been doing to cope with not being on the road? Is anybody driving you nuts? Because
yeah, you know what? So back in March, when all this started to happen, I started shows being canceled one by one, and then the whole year just vanished, right?
Yeah.
And I don't want to say I was depressed, but I was definitely to organize. Everyone was sold out. I was just anyhow. So I knew I had no control whatsoever. So I basically myself, and I spent 3 hours a day on, which I have never done in years. And I ended up losing pounds. I worked out 3 hours a day for 6 months. So I just wanted to come out of COVID saying to myself, hey, I can't.
Hold on. Did you freeze up Pavlo on us? I think maybe he froze up on us.
Oh, wait. Let me get him back on. Oh, there. Sorry, Pavlo. You froze a little bit. Can you just restart that?
Just the question again, Pavlo.
So what have you been doing with during COVID? Oh, wait. He's muted. Hold on. Let me unmute him.
Can you hear me now?
There you are. Okay.
Oh, there you are.
Sorry about that,
Can you answer
Pablo.
it again, Pablo?
Yeah,
We'll take it
okay.
again, Pablo, because it got started up.
Yeah. No, so during the COVID time, once I realized that all my concerts were being canceled one by one, and basically the whole year vanished in front of my eyes, I didn't want to come out of COVID time just thinking of this horrible sort of negative thing that happened in my career, right? I wanted to come out with something positive. So I turned to myself. I spent time on myself because I usually fly about 170 times a year, traveling like crazy, not really taking care of myself, So I basically put out a regimen. I worked out 3 hours a day. And when I say that, I mean like whether it's walking or running or swimming or whatever.
Right.
Bravo.
Skipping rope. I mean, I've never done this stuff before in my life.
Did you do 3 hours a day?
Yeah.
3 hours a day. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
and
awesome.
I did it right to this point. Like I've come to a point where I do 500 push-ups a day, but all of that just to make me feel good. Like, exerting myself made me feel better mentally,
Yeah.
and it helped me cope with the cancellations of all these concerts and everything else. But the byproduct was I got in good shape. You know what I mean? So I wanted to come out of COVID thinking, hey, I did come out of it with a positive thing. And that's, I took charge of my health,
Right.
So that's what I've been doing during COVID.
Well, that's good. No, I think you know what? More people I've run out of fast food places to order at. I just, and now I'm at the point now where like I really have, I went through it, and now we're just kind of trying to, what I like what you just said, Pablo, you're trying to set a routine during this, because if you don't do that, you're going to go cuckoo.
Yeah,
right?
man, you need it.
Yeah, because we're all go. There's always something to do. There's always a place to go. And then all of a sudden, like for 22 years, I've been touring without stopping ever. The biggest break I have is about 2 or 3 weeks during the Christmas period. That's it. Other than that, I'm on the road all the time.
Is that something you enjoy? Is that something like you like your life being like that? You like being on the road? You like traveling? You like doing stuff?
Not that I like it. I had no choice. Like when I started, like I was saying earlier, it took me so many years to finally succeed, right? And then I started realizing the shows weren't just going to be in Toronto, but I started getting shows in Calgary, started getting shows in New York, in Los Angeles, in Germany, in England, in Japan, in South Korea. Like it just started to go everywhere, right?
Yeah.
And I realized, okay, if I'm really going to have a career, I've got to travel. There's just no way around it. So I think I was a bad traveler, and I think I became good at it because I practiced it, And what I mean? Like it's like you have to travel if you want a real career in entertainment, because you got to move. You got to travel around the world.
Yeah.
So
that's what I tell people all the time. People are like, "Hey, I want to get into show business." I go, "Look," I said, "traveling sucks, but the shows are always great. You get rewarded from it." But I'm sure, like you, there's times you're not sleeping. You're up at night. You're up at 4 a.m. to go to the airport to get to another city to do a show that night.
Every night, man. I mean, I'm getting better at. Like I used to book 17 shows in 17 cities in a row.
Wow.
And then have a day off and do another 16 cities in 16 days in a row. So I'm trying to stay away from that kind of stuff.
That's crazy.
Right.
Yeah, it is. I mean, like there'll be literally days where you're sleeping 3 hours a day and you got to catch the next plane to get to the next city or whatever, But
sucks.
I've got that under wraps more or less these days. I have them. If I go to the Bay Area, I'll do San Francisco, I'll do Sacramento, I'll do Redding, California. I'll do a whole bunch in that area. And, then go to the next group, so you sort of learn to do it better as you go, So
take a day off or two in LA or something, and then
exactly.
I mean, you have to do that now because it's too much.
Yeah, and you get good at it as a traveler as you move on in life. But I'm saying, so for 22 years, I had never stopped touring, and when COVID hit in March, I turned to my wife. It's like I've been home for 5 weeks. I haven't been home for 5 weeks in 22 years.
Yeah,
that's like a shock to the system right there, too.
Dude,
and
it is.
Then it became 4 months. Like I was at home for 4 months and did nothing.
I barely travel at all, and just being home for like the last 3, 4, 5, 6 months, like I'm going crazy, and I never really went anywhere.
Look, I'll give an example. A rarity. We were better to buy a lottery ticket. I'm on a ship, and the ship, unbeknownst to me, docks as a turnaround in Tampa. I catch the ships in the middle. I call Pavlo. He just got in the night before and was leaving the next day. So I called him up. I go, where are you? I'm in Tampa. I go, so am I. I go, but I'm only there for about 5 hours. He goes, I'll come and pick you up. So in a very rare case, you remember this, Pavlo?
Yeah.
He came and got me where the port is in Tampa. We went and had lunch. We went for a coffee. He dropped me off at the port again. And then the next day, I think that night or the next morning, you were flying to like Kansas City or something.
Wow.
And it's so rare that, and I said to him, wow, because it's very rare that you can get, with the schedules the way they are. So you take advantage of those moments. So whenever many times he's been in LA or they're traveling through to Vegas or whatever, he'll call me up. Hey man, I'm in San Diego. I'm coming up tonight. Let's go get dinner. We'll hang out. And then, next day we got to go. I'll leave. He'll leave. That's showbiz. So you try to, and I could see him maybe 3 times in a month and not see him in a year and a half.
Yeah.
It's
those
a
are
lifestyle.
those are what I call chance meetings, and you got to take advantage of them when they happen.
Well, we have fun doing that. So look, I'm so happy for your success and in true form as a Greek Canadian. And I want my American friends to know how humble we are because a hard worker, this guy has not stopped in 22 years. I know for a fact. Sometimes I'll call him around the road. Where are you? We play this game. Where are you in the world? And, I'm in Redding, California.
Where in the world is
since,
Pavlo?
Where in the world is Pavlo? But he's out but that's the thing. He's out making people happy. And you know why we can get all these guests now, guys? It's because of COVID. So I told them, Pavlo, I'm getting all these guests on the show. I go, because none of us are going anywhere. So
I got a lot of time on my hands.
I called
Pablo,
Pavlo.
we said it before. We were like, if there's going to be a silver lining in COVID, it's that, we were able to get Angelo to host the show with us, and Angelo could get his friends because probably like not being able to travel. So, there's a silver lining.
There is no, because you can't get in reality, it's always like, man, people will ask me, I'm doing a gig and they go, hey, what do you think about Pablo? I go, well, you have to contact his people, it's very rare, but now it's like, you call your friends up. Hey, what are you doing Wednesday? Nothing. Do you want to come on? Sure. It's not, the people call me and they're like, are you available next Tuesday? Yeah. How about Thursday? Yeah. How about Saturday? Hey, I'm available. Just call me. Doesn't matter now.
I know. It's crazy, man. But it's all good. I love that perspective, right? There's always a silver lining. And that's just you gotta look at the positive. I mean, this is a whole negative scenario that's going on, but it's global. Everyone's feeling it. But let's find the positive stuff like this, connecting with you guys. There you go. I've got 2 new friends today. I love it. For me, that's a beautiful thing. You know what I mean?
I mean, this is like the peak of your career right here. So you should be happy.
I love it.
I know, but like I said, Pablo, the only good thing is after 2 weeks, my kid looked at me going, so you're my dad, right? And then I wrote a joke. I go, now that you've shown up, Uncle Jerry hasn't been coming around lately. Who the fuck is Uncle Jerry? Uncle Jerry used to come over and see mommy all the time. So but that's what, you see, that you try to find the funny, or like you said, maybe get inspired. You got to find it, because I'll be honest. There's days I'm in a shit mood. Yeah. I'm not going to lie. There's days where I'm like, when's this going to end? Yes. When's this going to do? This helps a little bit. This does help.
Absolutely.
And talking with people, it does help. Because
and always think of the fact, like Pavlo said very well, this is everybody. If this was just like a small group of people, I'd be like, what the hell? Why us?
Everybody.
But it's everybody.
It's everybody.
Nothing you can do about it. It is what it is. Make the most of it. Do an online show, work out, do whatever you could do. Just make yourself feel better. Get yourself through it. Just get through it, because that's all we can do. Get through it with a good, sane mind, a good, healthy body, and that's it. You've succeeded.
That's it.
We got to do that. So,
I think honestly, I think the pent-up demand will be huge. I believe. Like for live shows. Yes. For comics, for musicians, for everything. I think people, they won't want to stay in their homes, honestly, because I think that's just, no matter what happens with technology, there is a human,
element.
Absolutely.
Well, like a chemical balancing that you need for interaction.
No,
right?
you need it. You need human interaction.
So I think we just got to be patient, and it'll come back better than ever. That's all.
Yeah.
And the Greeks say echome lisaxi. I love that word lisaxi, which means salted to death. Lisaxes. And I want to lisaxi. I can't explain that word in English. Lisaxe.
We need to be
lisaxe, which means salted. Dehydrated. Lisaxe.
Hydrated.
Fucking Greek words are so funny. So, this is great. Well, I am both fingers crossed for next year for Santorini, and I know it's going to happen, and it's going to be a blockbuster for you. I really, really know it's going to happen. And what we want to do, Pav, is let everybody know now where they can find you and where they can find your upcoming show online and where they should click on to.
Yes.
Yeah. So October 15th, which is next Thursday, I'm doing like a pay-per-view streaming concert from Las Vegas. And the link you can find from my social media. So if you just Google Pavlo.com is my website. But if you just Google Pavlo, it'll come up. It'll come up.
So Pavlo, we're going to make this episode a video on YouTube and also a podcast on all the podcasting networks, and we're going to link to it from those platforms as well.
We'll do that. And it's Pavlo with a V, not a B, because I'm sure people mistake you for being Latino a lot.
Yeah, everybody thinks I'm Mexican.
Pablo Escobar.
The Mexican, because they go, Pablo, your friend Pablo. It's Pablo.
Yeah.
No,
Well, you did live from Guadalajara, so it's like, that fits perfectly.
Well, yeah,
you know what a guy said to me?
I play in Mexico, and everyone thinks I'm Mexican, you know.
Well, you know what's funny? When you did Pavlo live from Guadalajara, people tell me, oh, there's this new Spanish guy named Pavlo from Guadalajara. He's from Guadalajara. I went, no, he's not from. He's from Castoria. Forget it. No, the guy told me, no. The guy, man, I saw him on TV. He's Mexican. He's from Guadalajara. No, Malaca, he's not. It's B, not B. And I had an argument with the guy, and he goes to me, "Oh, you're right. He's from Canada, Greek." But I thought he was from Guadalajara. So it's so hilarious. So, Pav, you don't have a guitar nearby, do you?
I don't.
Okay. Yeah, don't worry about it. I was going to say to play us out, but that's all right. If people want to watch you, tune in on the 15th of October so they can watch you live from Las Vegas.
Yes.
And Pavlo.net, Pavlo.com. Go to Pavlo Guitar on Instagram. I know because we communicate all the time. I know all your stuff. I'm one of your top fans.
And we're going to
go to Pavlo.
Link all of it as
and
well.
if you're Mexican, go to Pavlo from Guadalajara. He has a page. No kidding.
And you know, to all the listeners and all the viewers out there, he's been working out, so you got to check out those moves. You got to check out the groove of this guy playing the guitar. It's mesmerizing.
Yeah.
But brother, I just want to say thanks so much for coming on the show today. An hour went by. It's been fantastic. Say hi to everybody for me. And I'm looking forward. 2021 is going to be brighter pastures. And we're so happy to have you on our show today. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Nice to come up.
Thank you very much, Pablo.
Thanks, guys.
Really.
Pablo,
Thanks, brother.
Thank you
Much
so
success.
much. You're an amazing guest. Everybody's going to check you out. We're going to link all his stuff. Foti, thank you from Boston over there. Angelo, you know I love you, buddy.
Love you,
all
bro.
the way in LA. Keep hopes up. Keep everything positive. Pavlo, you're awesome, man. I hope everybody in this world checks out your music and grooves with you.
Thank you.
It's awesome. Thank you so much. Everybody, we'll see you guys.
See you guys.
Stay tuned for the video and the podcast, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.